Hey guys, this is Surax Gaming, back with another Mortal Kombat discussion video. In today's video, I wanted to rank all the mainline Mortal Kombat games according to my own personal preference. Just a little disclaimer, this is all my opinion and my own ranking. Feel free to put your own rankings down below, but without further ado, let's go into the rules for this video. Number 1, no spin-off games. I may do a follow-up video for them if this one is popular enough, but as of this video, I will only be counting mainline Mortal Kombat games from MK1 down to MK11. And I will only be accounting the final definitively release of each game, such as UMK3 or Mortal Kombat 9 Complete Edition, MKXL Edition, you get the idea. Without further ado, let's begin. Starting off at number 10, we have the original Mortal Kombat. Released in 1992, the game launched with 7 characters on arcade systems before getting home console ports. The reason for me putting this one in the last place position for this list is purely because I wasn't around to play it. The game came out about 10 years before I was born, if I'm being honest. And although I have played it since a handful of times, it just doesn't really crack it for me. I don't really like the simplistic fighting games. Yes, I'm aware that they were limited by the technology of the time, but compared to the other arcade games that were released after it, MK1 just doesn't really hold up in my opinion. Moving on to number 9, we have MK2. Released in 1993, MK2 launched with 12 characters and introduced a number of new concepts that currently make up the foundation of the Mortal Kombat lore. MK2 was much deeper and better made than its predecessor, and it introduced more unique characters like Baraka, Mileena, Katana, Kintaro, and Shao Kahn. Again, this game launched much before I was around to play it, but going back, I have admittedly only played a handful of matches of MK2. It does stand out more than MK1, only slightly, but that would come down to just the way the game looks and feels, the map design, the character design. It just feels like it stands out more than MK1 does. Coming in at number 8, as sure is to be expected after the previous two, is UMK3. Releasing in 1995 and rounding out the arcade trilogy, UMK3 is the culmination of the story and mechanics Midway were working on in the arcade era. Boasting the most new characters of any arcade MK game, as well as the most unique looking characters, UMK3 also introduced new finishes such as friendships and brutalities. This one comes out on top of the other two arcade games for me because of its roster. It introduced so many characters that I love to this day, such as Sindel and Sector, and it just feels like they really found what they were going for in UMK3. The number 7 spot goes to MK4. Gameplay wise, I don't like Mortal Kombat 4 very much, but where it shines is its shift into the more animated look, allowing the devs at the time to give us more vibrant and unique stages and costumes for new and old characters, rather than the live action look that they had going on. The roster also introduced a fair few new characters, including the first, aside from Scorpion of course, NetherRealm characters such as Shinnok and Quan Chi. The game also introduced some sick new fatalities that they couldn't really show off as well in the arcade era, and now that they have this sort of animated art style that they can play around with a lot more. Moving on to number 6, we have Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. I know it seems that I'm moving up in order, but it shakes up after this one, so stay tuned. Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance was the first MK game I ever played, and I did love it then, and I mostly love it now. I love how the story stands out from the ones before it, and the character designs as well as the stage designs really show off what made the 3D era so different and good. It was all unique and full of character, something MK seems to be missing the balance of a little bit these days. But back in then, it was just amazing. I still remember playing Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, the arcade mode. The arcade loading screen is the faintest memory I have of Mortal Kombat for some reason. I can't remember who I played or if I was good at it or not. I was very young at the time, but I do remember really enjoying it. Moving into the number 5 spot, we have Mortal Kombat 11, the most recently released MK game. It feels like it did have the potential to be the best, but just too many mistakes in my honest opinion. It is obviously the best looking MK game to date. The costume design for most characters are also some of the best. Gameplay is like a 7 out of 10 for me at least, with less combo options, and a lot of characters feeling more basic than they did in Mortal Kombat X, for example. The main thing that pulls MK11 down for me is the background lore, and how NRS seem to just interfere with as many pre-established backstories as possible. Cough cough Sindel. too many retcons, removing those and the actual story of the game isn't that bad, but that's a video for another time. Coming in at the number 4 spot is Mortal Kombat Armageddon. Similar to Mortal Kombat 11, the game isn't perfect, but what it does well makes it stand above the rest. Largest roster aside, the actual gameplay is very bare bones, of course due to the size of the roster, but the design and story of each character really help the game stand among the best in the series. From the conquest mode to the mini games, Armageddon also has a lot of content to go through and keep you playing for ages. Motor Combat especially standing out as an excellent party mode for some wacky fun. And in third place, we have Mortal Kombat 9. This is the first MK game that seriously got my attention and drew me into the series. The story retells the arcade trilogy better than the originals in my opinion, and fleshes out an already very established story, whilst inserting some more characters into each scene than the arcade version could. Character designs for most characters were great, gameplay is fast paced and a lot of characters give you plenty of options for learning and mastering. There was also the challenge tower with 300 levels, adds like an extra layer to the game after the story, not to mention some new mainstay features like test your luck. Overall, just an excellent game. In second place, we have Mortal Kombat Deception. What makes this game stand out above Armageddon for me is its depth and story, whilst also introducing numerous new characters with more interesting stories than most of the newcomers that NRS has been producing lately. Boasting more minigames and the best conquest mode in any MK game, Deception really stands above the rest of the 3D era in terms of quality. The Unchained version even adds some more characters into the mix, such as Shao Kahn and Katana, who were previously NPCs in Deception. If NRS ever wanted to remake any of the Mortal Kombat games, I would put all my money into Deception. 100% that game deserves a remake. And without further ado, our winner, the first place spot, goes to Mortal Kombat X. This may be controversial, but MKX stands miles above the rest for me in terms of gameplay design and story. The only weakness I can find with MKX is its roster lacks a lot more unique picks, and the actual color palette of Mortal Kombat X is very dark and grey at times, but other than that, I can't find any faults with it personally. The variation system gives each character numerous ways to play around with their kit, and almost every character feels easy to learn and can lead into some pretty great high-level abilities if you put your energy into learning them. That's why Mortal Kombat X is my favourite Mortal Kombat game. Alrighty guys, that brings us to the end of this list and the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment and share with your friends if you want to see more Mortal Kombat content in the future. Also, don't forget to drop your rankings in the comments below. I want to see how you rank these MK games and how your list compares to mine. That's all for today folks, see you later.